This is the professor from Wealth Campus, and this is a chart analysis for ticker symbol STX. Seagate had a strong earnings report, and this hard disk drive maker on that report saw a bull flag created. And like I've said before in previous videos, what you want to see on the creation of the pull is you want to see a lot of volume, and that's what you have here. You definitely have a lot of volume, and looking back the entire year, there's never been more volume traded in this stock going back one entire year. So there's a couple things that I like about this, and I want to make sure I highlight. I like the high volume bar. So we say that many times we say the chart is like a map, and I've always asked people, do you like profits? And they look at me kind of funny, like I'm asking them a stupid question, and they respond, of course I like profits. And my response to that is, well, if you like profits, then why don't you use a map to get you to those profits? And to me, these charts are the map to profits. And so this is a big footprint right here. This is a real big footprint for money coming into the stock, and you've got a real big flagpole here, almost a 10-point flagpole. So you got a couple things going on. You got a real big flagpole here on awesome volume, and then the stock is pulled back, and it's created a bull flag pattern. So what you have is a pennant here. And the other thing I like about the stock is not only do you have a bull flag, but instead of like pulling back and having like 2 days of weakness, what you really have is a pullback with an ascending base. Let me change this here. And so, this is your ascending base right here. And an ascending base like this usually leads to a big move higher. So the daily looks great, and what I try to do for my members is, a lot of my members work full time. What I try to do for my members is when there's a stock in a daily pattern that's showing momentum that I really like, and we're always looking for momentum in a daily chart, because I want members, I want the members of Wealth Campus to be able to see the needle in their account move violently. We want violent moves. We really want to move the needle in our accounts, and to do that we need a violent move. So if I go to the weekly here and take a look at the weekly, you have and I'm not sure if you can see it. You have a head and shoulders pattern here. So there's your head, and there's a shoulder, and there's a shoulder. And then if I draw a line, I'll try to draw a neckline here. We've broken out of the neckline with this candle. And the way that you use an inverse head and shoulders pattern is, once you have a breakout of the neckline, you look to see where the low is in the inverse head and shoulders pattern to where the neckline is. And so if you measure this move, this is going to give you roughly a 10-point move out of this inverse head and shoulders pattern. And I'm sorry, a 20-point move. And so interestingly enough, when you go back to the daily, once you do the math on an inverse head and shoulders pattern, that's going to roughly give you a target of 56. And now when you ask yourself, well, what happens when we break the top of the flag here? Because that's our goal. When we're looking at a stock like this, we want it to break the top of the flag. So the question becomes, well, what happens when Seagate or STX breaks the top of the flag? Well, you want to look at the length of the flagpole. So the length of the flagpole here is almost 10 points. So with a 10-point pole on tremendous volume, you would expect that on a break of 46.68 to hit like a $56 target. Well, interestingly enough, your target on your bull flag coincides with your target on your inverse head and shoulders pattern. Again, there's the head, and here are your shoulders. Okay, so if you look, 1781 is the low, to like 3871. So it's almost a 21-point move, and so it gets you a measured move to like the 56, 59 area. So you have two different patterns, one in the daily and one in the weekly. Okay, the daily looks fantastic, but in the weekly, what you're looking for here is a continuation of a trend reversal here, because you've got the inverse head and shoulders pattern that you're breaking out of after some consolidation here on a fantastic earnings report. Looking at volume on the weekly, you have more volume here on this in this weekly chart than you have had for the past 2 years. So a tremendous look on both the daily and the weekly. And not only do you have a high RSI on the daily, which is giving you momentum, but you also now have a high RSI on the weekly of 72.17. And so now you have a high RSI in the daily and a high RSI in the weekly. And just a glance at the monthly, you have a continually or continuously improving pattern as the RSI continues to climb, and and you continue to climb here on the monthly. So just improving technicals all the way around, and so STX looks great here in actually all three time frames, but in especially the daily and the weekly.